So these are the parts that I used in this project. So an Arduino UNO, an infrared sensor module receiver, infrared remote control, and some jumper leads or DuPont cables. This is the FrexSing showing the connections for the three cables, 5 volts ground and pin 6, and this is an actual picture of the Arduino connected up. So I opened up the Arduino IDE, and I think this is the decode IR remote example sketch. I used pin 6 as the receive pin for the signal. Started up the serial monitor to display the numbers that I needed. That was on 9600, and here we have the code for printing what the button code was from the remote. So the next step was make sure that the Arduino UNO was the board that was selected and COM port 9. In my case, it may be different on yours. And then we went to the tools and opened the serial monitor. Now, as you can see, picture in picture just down on the right hand side, when I press a button on the IR remote, then, well, there are two code numbers. The first one, I'm not sure what that means at all. The second code number is the code corresponding to the button that I pressed. So for the next part of the project, I needed to press each of the buttons that I was going to use and make a note of the corresponding code, and that would be used in the next sketch. So that's what I did. I just pressed the buttons and I made a note of the codes that corresponded to those buttons. So for the next stage, I wanted to make a stepper motor move incrementally, a quarter, a half, a 3/4 turn, and a full rotation. So I got the codes from the relevant buttons on the remote. The first two here you can see will give a full rotation. The first one clockwise, the second one counterclockwise. And it was a case of taking that code number and putting it into the sketch at the right place. I then used button 1, 2 and 3 to do clockwise rotations. The first one a quarter, the second one a half rotation, and the third one 3/4. I did the same for buttons 4, 5 and 6 on my remote, and that would give counterclockwise the same, a quarter, a half and 3/4. And here you can see I've added a note to the code. A link to this code will be in the description. And I use the arrow buttons on the remote to give a full rotation clockwise and counterclockwise. This is a picture of the connections. So the IR receiver is exactly the same as before. The stepper motor N1, 2, 3 and 4 go into pin 8, 9, 10 and 11 respectively, and the power connectors, I connected it to provide 5 volts on an external power source for the actual stepper motor. And here you can see the code in operation. So press button 1 and you get a quarter of a turn. Button 2 and you get half a revolution. Button 3 a full 3/4 revolution, and the same counterclockwise. So, and then you've got the I've used the arrow keys to give full revolution left, as in clockwise or counterclockwise. And being as I'm in the UK, I think we could do with a full revolution to sort out those frickin' politicians. But enough about that. So that was my little project to get a stepper motor to move incrementally using an infrared remote. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Bye.